Hi, travelers. Tara here. Yes, I know it has been a minute that you have heard from me with an open reading. But as many of you know, when Mercury goes into retrograde, I kind of disappear off of the scene. It's just the nature of the Mercury retrograde for me. And this has been a very interesting Mercury retrograde. With the finally the coronavirus catching up to America. And I thought it was very interesting that he retrograded in the sign of Pisces. Pisces rules the seas. So the first thing that we saw were people stuck on ships and not being able to get off and being sick. Um, it has now moved it has turned direct. It's still in the sign of Pisces. I think if I had a word of wisdom for you, I think since last year, those of you on the website, and I've been telling you that winter was coming. And with the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto all in the sign of Capricorn, this is what I meant. Well, on the 22nd of March, Saturn will be moving into Aquarius. Saturn rules limitations, borders. Let me see. I've got my document open. Let me give you some keywords for Saturn. Mastery, discipline, darkness, hardness, construction, order, business, limits, borders, rules, structure, time, walls, destinations, and hyper focus. Going into the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius rules the community. He is the water bearer. He represents the sign of your groups, and these are your familial groups. So these are your networks, the people that you work with, your community, your neighborhood, but on a larger scale. And so having Saturn enter that sign is going to be this idea that social distancing that everybody's talking about. That's Saturn in Aquarius. The fear of networking. You're going to have to limit uh, how you travel, where you go, and the people that you are around. You're going to have to kind of quote unquote isolate yourself, but you are doing it for the greater good of the community. That's the thing about Aquarius, the brotherhood and sisterhood, that we're all in the same boat together. And so I'm going to stand on my soapbox right quick. I think one of the saddest things that I saw about this, I was at the grocery store the other day, and there was an elderly lady standing in front of the soup aisle, and she was crying because there was no soup left on the shelves. I don't know how long it took that lady to get to the store, if she had to take several buses, or if somebody had to drop her off, or she had to pay somebody to get there. But when she got there, when she was finally able to get there was nothing there for her to purchase. Um, and I felt so bad for the lady, and there was nothing that I could do because there wasn't even soup that I could buy. So I would ask that if you are buying up toilet paper and you're buying up shit, be a little conscious that there might be people out there that it's taking them a while to get there, or that maybe they don't have the resources to come in, and it's for the greater good. Um, I mean, come on, you can get in the shower and wash your ass. You really don't need to be hogging up toilet paper, right? I mean, so kind of be conscious about that. Look out for your neighbors, particularly your elderly people, those people who may have some type of physical disabilities, those people with children, because literally we are all in this together. Now, I will also tell you that I think we're going to be for a long haul for this. Saturn has a 2-year transit through each sign. At the moment, there's no vaccine and there's no cure for this. And viruses mutate. They've been excluding the category of people from their 20s to their 30s, but there's been information that has come out, anecdotal information, where there have been people in their 20s in South Florida who have fallen ill, and some of them are on an ICU. And so this virus knows no gender, no race, no socioeconomic status, no religion, Um, it knows no bounds. It has no boundaries. So, so those people who are going out to the clubs and all of that, you know, you may be asymptomatic. You may be a carrier and never get sick. And so right now that may not mean shit to you until you go see your grandma and then your grandma gets sick and she dies. So I mean, that's the harsh reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's not who I am. I don't sugarcoat crap. And so you really want to try to limit your social interaction as much as possible. I know for many of you this is going to be very difficult because maybe you can't, you know, maybe due to the nature of your job or your work, something like that, you're not going to be able to isolate yourself that much. And I don't know what the government's going to do about that. I don't know. But it goes back to that winter is coming when Saturn was in Pluto. And I was like, you know, I kept telling a lot of you who were getting readings, you know, you're going to have to build something. You're going to have to get your resources together. You're going to have to, and your resources are not just your finances, right? This is about building a solid structure so that if the what if happens, you're going to have something to kind of tide you over. So I do know that life has changed. I've never ever seen where entire countries have been shut down. Literally. Not only are the borders shut down, but all of the businesses are shut down except for the essentials. You know, groceries, pharmacies, and medical places. I've never seen that. I don't think I'll ever see that again in my lifetime. So you are literally witnessing history. You are living through it. For those of you who are finding this to be, I don't know, maybe some of you don't find this to be interesting. I would suggest keeping a journal so that your grandchildren can read about this particular time, because this is going to be in the history books. It most definitely will be in the history books. And maybe that way you can impart a bit of wisdom along to future generations. Again, brotherhood, sisterhood, and the group. We are leaving the age of Pisces, and this was the age of the great Messiah. So we're looking at Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, okay, Jehovah. And we are moving into the sign of Aquarius. And so all of those kids born under the millennium, those are the ones that are going to carry the world through to the next, into the next phase. And so you might have some words of wisdom to impart on those young people. So with that said, we're going to, I know it's, people are afraid. I know that people are worried. Uh, some people aren't even taking this seriously, and they really should take it seriously. I'm not saying that you should spend every waking moment being fearful of this. I mean, because the truth is you can't change it, right? What you can do is play your part to help mitigate, all right? Social isolation, social distancing yourself whenever possible. And but other than that, there's not shit you can do about it. It was like the Y2K. Um, People were fighting over gasoline. They were fighting over toilet paper. They were fighting over water. They were taking all their money out of the bank. And I remember saying to them, if this is really the end of the world, fighting over gas ain't gonna help you because you can't outrun it. You can't buy your way out of it. So stop taking all your damn money out of the out of the bank, right? And wiping your ass and drinking water is going to be the least of your problems if this is really the end of the world. You may not even survive to be able to wipe your ass and drink water. So, I mean, you know, you got to put things into perspective. Panicking does not help. I understand that people are fearful and they're worried, and I understand that. But this is really a time where you can take this particular energy and turn it into something constructive. You can figure out something else to do. And so that's my little soapbox. I'm climbing down now. We're going to use the Radiant White deck. I mean, yes. We're going to clarify with Levita Sabila, pull a Heart Oracle card. One last thing. I was scheduling my Astrology Basics webinar for this Saturday. I'm actually going to have to move it to Friday because I myself have a class. I'm taking a class with Penny Thornton. It's 4 hours all day on Saturday. I will be sending out a, what do you call it? A newsletter with the exact time later on this evening. So if you don't have my email address in your contacts, please add it into your contacts. You can find my email address in the About box section of your channel. Um, do know that this is going to be for, if you are a website member, this is going to be free access to the webinar. For those of you who might want to join later, I will have it up on the server, but I'm still waiting to hear back from the Zoom people about the link and how that works, okay? And it won't cost you a lot, trust me, it won't. But you know, you can get in on the astrology basics and learn it from the circle on up, okay? And so look for that thing today, and hopefully it won't be too long now, and I'll have the exact time and everything like that. You know, come with your pen and your paper, print out your charts if you can, just so you'll have some reference and frame of reference to look at personally when you're looking at it. You can make notes on it, make yourself a blank wheel if you need to. You can download any one of those from Google Images, a blank wheel. I think for some of you, I have some of that information in the user document, so go in and look, and if not, I'll try to post one up today, a document that you can print out and have your own blank wheel. And so that's that. Let me turn the camera around, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the reading, okay? I've been out communing with the trees in my backyard because on Wednesday, the tree expert is coming. He's going to be cutting down a lot of my trees, you guys. I am so sad about that. I have such an affinity for trees. I absolutely, absolutely love and adore them. Even the ones that are like crappy, like the ones I got in my backyard. But they are just such lovely, lovely things. All right. Hey, Leo. Leo, what you doing? What are you doing? That's my cat. He's a clown. All right. I'm going to put one more good shuffle in. We're just going to open the cards and see what they have to say. I'm not focusing on any issue or thing or question. Hold on. There's something I need to look at right quick. If you'll pardon me for 1 second. Pardon me for 1 second. Oh my God. This is so just too much. Okay, I gotta write this down. So just bear with me 1 second, and I apologize for having to. Some information I wanted to. All right, there we go. Are we ready? Uh-oh, threw my pencil on the ground. All right. Oh, the reverse Four of Swords. That's interesting. The Strength card. The reverse Empress. Wow. The Knight of Swords. The Ten of Cups. Wow. Interesting, interesting. The reverse Fool. The reverse justice. Wow. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. The reverse 8 of Pentacles. Whoa. And the reverse Queen of Wands. So I have 2 court cards here. A Knight of Swords and a Queen of Wands reversed. What is underneath the deck? The reverse Ace of Pentacles. Well, right in the center, this is we are dealing with the family issue. I have 2 8s here. 2 8s can speak to obstacles, delays, and hassles. 2 8s can be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, where's my thing? You will receive news that affects the relationship. That might be 3 8s that speak to obstacles, delays, and hassles. Let me double check that for you. Let me double check that for you. Well, that's interesting. Okay, that wasn't what I was looking for, but already it told me something. So, that's interesting. Okay, hold on. Let me get the 2 8s for you. Yes, a slight, there implies that there may be a slight concern in regards to a new romance partner, relationship, or partnership. There's a legal issue here. And I'm not exactly sure what this is telling me. And it is related to work or finances. Now, this could be everything going backwards because of what's happening in the world right now. And really, that's all astrology is. It is the study of how what happens in the heavens or the movement of the planets in the heavens, what kind of effect it has on life on Earth. What is the correlation or the relationship? Always remember that astrology doesn't compel people or cause things to happen. But if you know what you're looking for, you can most definitely see the patterns. The ancients were very, very clever that way. The other meaning of the 2 8s says you will receive news that affects the relationship. Well, there it is. Whatever this thing is, it's going to affect the family. This is the entrepreneurial queen, but she can also be your boss. And she's reversed. This whole row is reversed. Now, Venus is not just about giving birth, or it could be the negative aspects smothering people. It can be someone who's selfish or manipulative, or somebody who's vain. But since she is ruled by Venus, this could have something again to do with your values and your value system. Okay. Venus rules both the sign of Libra and the sign of Taurus. Libra is literally the house of contracts. It is the house in which people get married, they sign things, but also when shit goes south, this is where the house of divorces shows up. Okay, so Venus rules that, everything being fair and equitable within relationships, but as it relates to your personal life, this is about what is more precious than money or gold. This is about what do you believe in, what are you willing to sell your soul or sell yourself for or not. So something is happening here. And you definitely are going to receive some news from this particular Queen of Wands. Now, this could be you in terms of your business that you're doing, you know, where you work. your leadership abilities. Definitely something is happening. Um, and it's quite interesting. Now, most of you know that I don't always read reverse cards, but I am also of the belief that reverse cards typically come out when they need to. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to read you the keywords of the reverse Four of Swords. Okay? Because definitely something is happening. Isolation, loneliness, detachment, seclusion, opposition, delays, postponements, cancellations, and social unrest. Well, hell, right. I'm not trying to laugh because it's not funny, but let's take a look at this reversed. This is really quite interesting. Um, the reverse, and this Fool card, just where he fell, kind of, I don't like the way he fell. Let me find you, please, the reverse Empress. Here she is. Let me get the keywords. Insecurity, discomfort, hardship, loss, poverty, sadness, infertility, disruptions, upheaval, bitterness, a lack of activity, illness, inaction, waste, and idleness. Isn't this interesting? It speaks to wasted energies and unproductive activities which may be adversely affecting your home and family life, as well as your income and or financial aspects. Right in the center. Right in the center. So something is really happening for you. Insecurities, uncertainties, follies, negligence, absence, carelessness, apathy and vanity, recklessness and irresponsibility. Irrational impulses, foolishness, and poor judgment are some of the negative aspects of this card. It may be implying that you need to be strong in your own resolve rather than listening to others' opinions. It says that you are in the midst of doubt, uncertainty, and fear at this time. Isn't that funny? And you know, I get that for some of you. This is a situation in which I don't think any of us have ever lived through before. And we're going to be in it for the long haul. Unfairness, intolerance, injustices, legal complications, bigotry, bias, and excessive severity. Wow. Well, well, well. Isn't this interesting? It says when it appears reversed, it tells of a need to stop worrying and to direct your energies elsewhere. It may indicate that in a situation where there is a deadlock, a completely new approach is needed in order to work through the problem and make progress. Isn't that something? I tell you, the cards never ever cease to amaze me. They never do. And it always appears to me as though they they never tell you what you want to know. They tell you what you need to know. And Vanity, exaction, a lack of ambition, avarice, greed, limitations, limited ambitions, and false security. It warns us that what seemed like a good idea could soon collapse, so be prepared to try again. It is inferring that there are mistakes being made and there may be some shoddy workmanship or poor preparation afoot. It tells of rushing work to the detriment of quality. It may be warning that there are some underhanded dealings, deceptions, mistruths, and dishonesty, um, dishonest conduct pertaining to a work issue. It is telling you to go about there's a desire to go about things in a hasty manner leading to disaster. You are asked to slow down and consider all options carefully. Well, isn't that something? We're going to pull cards on this. Hold on, because there's a lot of information about this Eight of Pentacles next to some of these, to the Fool. It is a warning to be cautious. Everything, even though things seem to be going according to plan, do not become complacent or careless with your work or finances. Otherwise, you will bear the negative consequences. This is a warning to someone out there. It's, and again, I'm not trying to tell you this to make you fearful. I'm asking you to slow down and think through every step. I don't know what this is. Whatever it is, it's going to affect your entire family, or at least those people that you consider to be a family. Everything that you've ever hoped for and worked for. And interestingly, this is Saturn in Pisces. This is the idea of sacrificing yourself for the greater good, so that you can go out and, people don't go to work and bust their ass uh, for no reason, right? And if you've got a family, you go out and you do whatever you got to do, to keep your family afloat. There's going to be some kind of, and I don't know if this has to do with the stock market, because that is also what Taurus rules. This is not the sign of Taurus. That would be the Hierophant. But I also was talking to you a while ago about, go back and read my article called Uranus and Taurus. And I explained the difference to you between a bear market and a bull market. Well, we just went into a bull market for the first time in 10 years the other day. So, and a lot of people lost their 401ks, right? So that's why I say, don't assume that just because you don't, you may think you don't have this, none of this affects you, but it will affect you in some way. And if not you, somebody that you know, through the 6 degrees of separation. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, who's lost a whole bunch of money. Let's look at this reverse Ace of Pentacles. Oh, how funny. Greed, the dark side of wealth, preoccupation with material aspects, false securities, overconfidence, difficulties, corruption, hedonism, disorganization, failure, and materialism. The reversed Ace of Pentacles warns of corruption, greed, and dirty deals in regards to financial matters. It says that it may be cautioning you not to be too overconfident at this time, as things may not go according to plan and may turn out much different than expected. If a wrong or bad choice or decision has been made, it asks that you listen to your inner voice and take positive action to rectify or change the situation. It could indicate someone who is overly possessive regarding their possessions and or money. It may be implying that there is a lack of enjoyment of day-to-day life and an inability or resistance to see the positive aspects of a situation. It indicates that money will come in one door and go straight out of the other. It can indicate that although all the seeds have been sown, the results are being blocked and thwarted. Something or someone is keeping the results from coming to fruition. Look out for missed and or overlooked opportunities. Isn't that interesting? Well, first thing I want to do is I want to know what this Knight of Swords is all about. That's my movement in the card, in the spread. Whatever this thing is, it's leaving this situation. Okay. Even this reverse Fool, sometimes the Fool is an indication of taking a journey or a trip. That could be literal. But it's followed by this reverse Justice card. I don't know if some of you have been ill and suddenly you find yourself, feeling better, or maybe the Strength card is asking you to, move slowly, take this, whatever the situation is, it's going to require subtlety. It's not something that you can force, okay? Suspiria, yes, reversed. Interesting. The Consolante Sorpresa and the Fortuna. This is about some kind of missed opportunity. That's what this is saying, and I think some of you are stuck in the idea that you, quote unquote, you think that you've missed some kind of opportunity, whether this is a promotion or a raise or a chance to move up to bigger and better, when really the card is saying that this really, if you'll slow down, all of the seeds have been planted. You're going to have to go at this from a different direction. Now, I want to take a look at this reverse Justice card. Then I'm going to look at this reverse Queen of Wands. She's looking over here at this reverse Eight of Pentacles. And we see that all the pentacles that this figure has collected and worked on, he's losing them. He's got his hand on one pentacle. There's three things that are still kind of, well, two things really. Three. Because all the ones on this side here have gone. So I think this is speaking to someone who has, this situation has really, really affected your business in a way which you did not foresee. I don't think it speaks to the end of the world, so to speak. You're just going to perhaps have to figure out another way to do whatever it was you wanted to do. The Melancholia reversed. The Precious Presence reversed. Wow. And the Vedevo. Wow. Okay, one last card. And then we're going to wrap this reading up with a Oracle Tarot. And this kind of feels like a demotion, but it's through a mistake, I think. I think it was through perhaps the idea of feeling or thinking or behaving in such a way that it's like I'm impervious to any of this. We're never impervious to anything. Disgrazia. The Il Nemico. And the Speranza. Wow. Definitely caused through somebody that maybe you didn't well, that's not true because the il nemico represents a known enemy, and typically this enemy is a male. So I can't really speak for what's actually happening here, but you're gonna have to I think you already know this person. It's not like the La Namica. The La Namica typically speaks to an unknown enemy. She will always be a female and somebody who pretends to be your friend. She will be very difficult to identify. This tells me it's a male. Now, it says this, when it is also near positive cards, indicates the end of a dark period of anxiety and uncertainty, but not after having experienced several changes in fortune and mood swings. Okay, it is the end of a period of yearning and of struggling to finding answers. You will be able to obtain clarification as to the future and obtain a long sought for resolution. It is considered to be a sigh of relief. It indicates someone who has the ability to be strong and to overcome whatever difficulties life presents. Financially, it can indicate the end of a turbulent period and warrants not to put any more energy into something that should have by now borne fruit. Sometimes it can indicate someone coming clean and you will receive an honest explanation as to why things were done and said. It indicates a confession or a clarification or the revelation of a secret that should not have been kept from you. But it also indicates the end of a desire, whatever that may be. This could be the end of a passionate relationship, the end of an attachment, someone who no longer loves you, or vice versa. The end of a leisure activity or something that used to give you pleasure and now no longer interests or satisfies you. It can also indicate the end of a craving for something. And this can be positive if it's like an addiction or something, or if you wanted to lose weight. Or now, in case this is something that's negative, it says it warns of people with no conscience, ruthless people who want to ruin your reputation. It heralds defamations, lawsuits, lies, and malicious conduct from someone who has nourished feelings of envy. Such people are, for all intents and purposes, sent as a karmic test to see if you will or will not stray from your true purpose. See the crooked arrow at the top of her head? It's pointing to something that has occurred in the past. So this could be something coming back around. Here we have the Contelonte Soppressa. It's a fiore. I don't know what number because I cannot read my cards anymore. So 1 second. Now, it says this. It is the card that represents unexpected gain and a positive turn of event. It implies a situation in progress and a positive change in circumstance from the present condition, which usually comes out of the blue. Now, it can also represent somebody who will thrive thanks to being in the right environment. It is the card of fulfilled dreams, harmonious relationships, a stroke of luck, and of passive income. It indicates a successful investment and any achievements due to a lucky streak. It says, whatever the results are will come as if they are fished out of water when one is expected to catch something much less valuable. More often than not, it implies that you need to jump at a chance that will be presented to you in the future. Remember, I said that. It's like you feel as though you have missed an opportunity. This is one of the most positive cards in the deck. This is Fortuna, the Wheel of Fortune. I think you feel as if something that you have earned and it was perhaps taken away from you. It says this is the card of good luck, of something happening for you without you having to do anything for it or even to go look for it. The opportunity just came, fished itself out of water. Okay? It does not represent chance because she is not blindfolded. It represents karmic luck and good luck that is a result of divine providence, regardless of how a situation may look from the outside. More often than the knot, it may look like blind luck, but it is not. It says that any spread becomes positive due to the power of this card, that the power of this card has to annul any or all negative cards, even the more sinister ones. It represents fulfillment, success, recognition, and prosperity. A prayer being answered. A relationship will prosper and finances will abound. But something reverses itself. Here is the Justice card. The Malanconia. And I don't think necessarily that this is a bad thing. I can't remember if it's... Let's see what it says here. It just says that this has a longer duration. And it says that the meanings are magnified. Indicates a definite loss and setback. Now, it acts as a warning. Oh, hold on. I don't know why my computer is still Mercury retrograde. Hold on. It's popping up with crap. There we go. Now, it says that it may indicate a definite loss, setbacks, and more often than not, it acts as a warning. There will be someone or something from the past that will come out of the woodwork. It is also telling you that this is somebody that you should not trust. Financially, this is the card that represents debts and lawsuits. It can also indicate someone who did not know how lucky they were until they lost the object of their happiness or affections. It is now too late to do anything about it. This is a very nuanced meaning. Well, now what's interesting about the precious presents, oh no, I'm thinking of the money card. So let's take a look at this reversed. Now, funny, it says that reverse the card has the meaning that a resolution will finally be found. And it indicates that everything is going to be okay in the end. In financial matters, the card is positive and indicates obstacles that are overcome, the receipt of money or financial help at a critical moment. Now, if this is the idea that somebody comes in to kind of save you and rescue you, I don't know if I would be signing any contracts. Now, it says that basically this card, when it shows up, is always concerned with money and power or the lack of it. It says it indicates that some obstacles will be solved, but many others will still remain to block the way. Unless the 2 or the 5 of clubs are in the spread, it does not indicate the resolution of all obstacles. Okay? Now, if this is about a romantic relationship, which I'm not getting, it indicates 2 people who have different ambitions and a couple who have grown apart. It also indicates superficiality and attachment to money and status rather than true love. It indicates wasted talent and wasted education, or worse, using one's talent for evil purposes. It can sometimes indicate an underachiever, someone who's wasting their life. Basically, it indicates the end of a difficult period, threats losing their original power, and it's like the end of a period of dependence on something or someone. Now, the Vedevo, this is the 3 of Swords, or the 3 of Spades. Now, honestly, I think this is a reference to whoever this person is. Yeah, it represents someone who may be 60 or over. If not that, it's going to describe the person's, the character of the person. Basically, it represents sadness, remorse, and regret. Intense loneliness and isolation, a lack of support, affection, and even the inability to open one's heart again. It will describe someone who has suffered intensely and who has been defeated by the hardships. It can indicate difficulty in interacting with other people and warns of difficult times ahead. You may feel left out in the cold and utterly alone, as if someone has pulled the rug out from underneath you, as someone that you used to rely on for support will no longer be there. In financial matters, it represents financial loss, dismissal, a lack of money, and an unwanted business trip or location. In love, it heralds separation, arguments, incompatibility, rancor, and resentment towards another person. A relationship devoid of true love and growing apart. Also, in financial matters, it can indicate a financial collapse or the unsuccessful ending of a project that meant a lot to you. It entails making life-changing decisions and breaking away from something or someone. And this is asking you to plan this. Now, I think might be warning you of a wrong misstep. So again, I'm going to ask that whatever you do, you want to really think about, you know, you can't just stop living life because crap ain't going right. You know what I mean? It foretells of a period of great turbulence that is about to enter your life. It heralds the arrival of traumatic events. However, there's a more philosophical approach to right and wrong, and what this card wants to convey to you, usually, that sometimes we don't deserve what will happen to us. Okay? More often than not, however, it implies that you have failed to learn from past mistakes, or that a mistake from the past will come to exact payment in the present. Again, you will feel like a hapless victim of circumstance, completely powerless, and it indicates a drastic and radical change for the worse, as something will never return to the way it used to be. In financial matters, it heralds a sudden and unexpected dismissal, repossessions, foreclosure, embezzlement, bankruptcy, and problems with the tax man. The card represents destruction. There are only two cards that are able to mitigate the impact of this, and that is the Five of Clubs and the Peacock. Now, I don't know if this is also kind of giving me an indication that the person, whoever this person is, might work as something like a fireman or something of that nature, somebody who works with, explosives, or I don't know. But here, he is the Il Nemico. There's a lot of swords here. And interestingly enough, he is the Jack of Spades. It is the meaning that it is represent known enemies. This is someone you already do not like, and you suspect that this person is plotting against you. If that is the case, this card comes up to confirm your suspicions. He is usually a man, 99% of the time. But I don't know, he's fallen on this woman card. It says the person already has an open dislike for you. And it is someone whose ambition, desires, and ego will clash with you. And the person is waiting for you to be at your most vulnerable before striking. Be careful, because this can also be someone who seems very nice, but for some reason does not inspire trust and gives you a bad feeling every time you're in the person's company. It warns that you should trust your gut feeling about the person or situation and keep them at arm's length. Someone coming in to dash your hopes. More broadly, it indicates someone who cannot mind their own business and who will cause serious nuisance to downright harm to you because they will start prying and meddling. It can also indicate someone who cannot see reason for the truth if it is presented to them. Somebody with their obstinacy causes endless grief for you. If this is a love rival, it is someone who openly does not want you to be together with your couple. It could also be somebody who's like a vindictive ex-partner. One of you may have become a sworn enemy to the other, and love will turn to hatred for everyone to see. Remember that open house, the 7th house that I was talking about? Could also be a competitor. Professionally, this is someone who is always working against you. He can be a colleague, a private investigator, a bailiff, someone within your circle of acquaintance who feels that they have a score to settle. It indicates cunningness. Someone who watches silently and plots against you, jumping to conclusions as to why things are the way they are, without being in the slightest bit interested in the truth. They have a warped perception, and this fuels their vindictiveness. On a broader level, however, it's a harbinger of unpleasant events such as scandal, gossip, pettiness, threats, blackmail, and something or someone who could become dangerous. This person could be a spreader of lies, maliciousness, and gossip. Now, here with the Eight of Cups, otherwise known as the Speranza card, it says that a prayer will be answered and hopes will be fulfilled, notwithstanding the apparent chaos, desperation, and turmoil. It says that your suffering is about to end, so hang in there. This could be the idea that this is somebody that you're going to have, this is the last time you're going to have to deal with this person. I think it warns you, however, that the person is on their way. But basically, it says the card can indicate spiritual protection from the divine. An impenetrable shield that is granted by one's karma in the face of unwanted adversity. It's funny, it says it has a connection to the word trip, excursion, frequent travel, and journeys for pleasure. It is connected with water and also predicts a trip or holiday by the sea, lake, river, or an aquatic environment. In business, it represents an investment with the intention of buying or having just bought stocks or shares, or a business transaction that you were hoping would succeed. It also represents a certain amount of emotional attachment to this. Whether it succeed or not is not known. Well, I don't know what this is telling you. Let's pull one. Definitely some news that affects the relationship. Most definitely. Now, what kind of relationship? I can't say. But there's a definite financial and legal aspect to this. And as I always tell you, even when you get married, once you join forces with someone in that legal way, all of your finances move into the 8th house. Other people's money, alimony, child support, taxes, mortgages, insurance payout, lottery winnings, right? The things that go on in secret and behind closed doors. So, yeah, you know, I really don't know what this is about. Quite an interesting spread. All right, here we go. It is the Hermit card. Wow. The Hermit card. That's interesting. Sometimes individuals become so engrossed in a relationship or in wanting a relationship that all perspective is lost. The relationship becomes their world and they lose sight of themselves. This card suggests that now is the time to take a step back, either from a relationship or from the desire for one, and go on an internal quest to rediscover yourself. One of my favorite sayings is this: there cannot be a we until there is a me. If this resonates with you, it is time to have a dialogue with your higher self. and your guides about who you are and what you really need in life, as you may be surprised by the answers. This is also a good time to physically retreat from your busy life and relationships. You can attend a spiritual retreat. However, simply finding some time for solitude and introspection can be just as beneficial. You can take a walk in nature, quiet your mind, and listen for messages from the birds and the trees. Give yourself the gift of a daily 5-minute meditation. This card is asking you to seek a deeper meaning for yourself about what role the relationships or all of the relationships play in your life. You may feel the need that you need assistance in your quest for greater understanding regarding what you need in a relationship, or even how to handle a specific relationship. You can find a guide or a mentor who is knowledgeable in the matters of the heart and converse with this person. The affirmation is, I take time for solitude and introspection. The keywords are quest, understand, retreat, solitude, introspection, and guidance. I don't know what that's telling me. That's what I have for you. I hope those messages help. And until next time, namaste.